Just a reminder to turn off your cell phones at this time. Also, please direct your questions to a student athlete directly. And we have mic holders. You want to make sure you have the microphone with you at that time. Okay, we're getting ready to start the press conferences for today. We have the University of Hawaii, and we have three student athletes, Roderick Bobbitt, Quincy Smith, and Mike Thomas. We'll now open it up for questions. So again, please grab a microphone and ask away. Who's our first question?
For Roderick and Quincy, you guys played a team with a strong backcourt in Cal in the last game. Mello, Trimble, and Rashid Suleiman, another good backcourt. What do you see in those two guys that's maybe a little bit different from Cal, but maybe some similar things you can do to try to slow them down?
I would say they penetrate the ball a lot, try to get into the lane and create shots for others. So that's one big thing that I took out of seeing the film of Maryland. So.
I think they shoot the ball really good. You know, they shoot a high percentage from three, and they get to the line a lot, and they shoot good free throws too.
Next question. Tim.
I guess for any of you guys, what did you guys do to kind of appreciate and celebrate the accomplishment yesterday, and how long did that last for, and at what point, I guess last night or this morning, did the focus start to turn to Maryland?
Let's start with Roderick and work our way down.
Celebrate. I don't know if we did too much. I mean, after the game, we were pretty happy, but we know that we had to put that game behind us and focus on Maryland, who is a great team, and everybody on the island celebrated for us. So.
Quincy?
Yeah, I got a lot of calls and texts, so just replying to all those, that was my celebration. You know, we got a lot of rest last night, you know, got a lot of rest this morning, and the coaches, they prepared us for Maryland with the film and the walkthrough today in practice.
Mike?
Yeah, I mean, our families were here, so it was good to spend time with them after the game and just reflect on it. But there's a 24-hour rule that you got to follow and get rid of it by 11 o'clock today and get ready for tomorrow.
Okay, next question. Go back over here. Any more questions for the student athletes? Okay, we'll excuse them to the locker room, and we'll have Coach up here in just a few minutes. Reminder that the locker room is open now for questions until about 1:55. Okay, we'll continue the University of Hawaii press conference. We have head coach Eran Ganot. We'll open it up for questions. Again, ask for the microphone for one of our microphone holders, and we'll start with the first question.
Hi, Coach. Can you talk a little bit about what part of Maryland's game concerns you the most heading into the game?
Well, there are a lot of parts there. Obviously, their balance is so good. But, you know, we just played against a very big Cal team, and these guys are bigger. And so we'll have our hands full there. But one of the reasons they're so good, and obviously why they're advanced to this point, have had such a good season, is just their balance. When you have an inside-outside attack, you surround their size with shooting and a dynamic point guard, you'll have your hands full. Obviously, one of the more efficient offensive teams in the country. And when I talk about their balance, they defend as well, defend and rebound. So it'll be another tall task, a great challenge, a great opportunity for our program.
Okay, next question. Please also give your name and affiliation if you would. Next question. Go ahead, Tim.
Tim Booth with the Associated Press. Your bench obviously has its little celebrations and has gotten some attention for that this year. Did you have any hesitation about letting them kind of express themselves the way they wanted to, or did you encourage it?
You know, one of the great things every year is a team forms. Every team's different, and a team starts to form their personalities. I like guys who are real and genuine and do things to support their team in a genuine fashion, provided it doesn't take away from the team. And these guys, like I said about our whole team, have found a great balance there. Back home, our guys call them the Hawaii 5-0, and I joke that our Hawaii 5-0 has become our whole team, because when our guys who maybe play more come out of the game, they join the club. And it's great to see. And obviously it's served us well to this point, so if it ain't broke, don't fix it kind of thing. But it's created great passion from every single guy in our program. There's a genuine investment from every single member of our team, and in a way that doesn't disrespect the game or our opponents. If it did, obviously we'd put a stop to it. But very pleased with their genuine respect for each other and appreciation and support for each other.
Josh Peter with USA Today. Aaron Valdez was saying that when you were hired, he was among, I think, a handful of players that were thinking about transferring. They were not happy.
That's encouraging to hear.
What do you recall about that, and how did you settle things down?
Well, I remember when I got hired, the first thing I wanted to do, I remember it was a whirlwind. I mean, you get the job, you're jumping on a plane, and then you have, I think it was a 9 a.m. press conference. And my request was I'd like to meet with the players first. And look, I talk a lot about there's so many things basketball-wise, X's and O's, program building, recruiting, but nothing matters as much as relationships. And so I was obviously behind the 8 ball. And when I first spoke to them, I kind of it was collectively, and then we said individual meetings. And it was, this is who I am, this is kind of how we're going to run our program. I only had a limited time because they were running me in a press conference. But I wanted them to hear from me first before they watch a press conference. And I appreciated the UH administration allowing me to do that. And, you know, it was about letting them get to know me, then spending individual time with them, then spending time with each of their families. And we went from there. You know, when you get a job, you're going crazy and you're trying to do everything, but I didn't think anything was more important than that, and I love that that's what we did, and this program will be built like a family and about relationships and understanding how much we care about them and what we're about, and vice versa, and I think that helped. Obviously, over the course of the season, you get some buy-in when you have some success, or you try to do things the right way. I think they go hand in hand, and trust, it takes time to build, but they probably heard some things about me when I got the job, and people were in my ear about them, and I told them that, and I said, there's no assumptions or anything. I don't want to hear from anybody. I want to hear from you, and I appreciate them allowing, me, affording me that opportunity, and trying to start a relation from the start.
Next. Any other questions, Nick, Tim? Okay, last chance. All right, thank you, Eran.
Thank you.
Next press conference will be 2:20. We'll have the Maryland student athletes. we'll have Mello Trimble and Jake Lehman.
Channel 3, Channel 4. 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 Channel 3, Channel 4.
Test, 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 test. You hear it? Okay.
It's fine.
And be sure to ask the mic holders for the microphone and give your name and affiliation when you ask a question. Thanks. Now we start with the University of Maryland press conference. With us today, student athletes Mello Trimble and Jake Lehman. We'll just open it up for questions at this time. Please direct your question to a specific student athlete and we'll get the questions answered. First question, raise your hand. Nick.
Hi, I'm Nick Geranius with AP. This is for Mello. Can you talk a little bit about the mood of the team after letting South Dakota State University back into the game late? Has that upset the people on the team?
No, not really. We know basketball's a game of runs, and we're in a tournament now, and everyone's gonna give us our best shot, and no one wants to lose, especially this time of the season. So we wasn't surprised. We knew that they were gonna make a run, and we just had to respond, and we didn't really respond very well, but we won. So that's it.
Jake, do you want to say anything on that?
Yeah, I mean, we weren't mad about what happened. I think some bad fouls down the stretch, some quick shots, things that we can fix going forward.
For both players, can you guys talk about kind of Coach Turgeon and throughout the year, kind of what his style and demeanor is with you guys?
Start with Mello.
For just to have fun and enjoy the moment. It's been a long season. We had a lot of ups and downs, but throughout this whole season, he just wanted us to have fun, and because we never get moments like this.
Yeah, I mean, just go off what Mello said. Coach Turgeon always stresses, just playing free and having fun out there. I think at one point this season we kind of got caught up in where we were and thinking that we should beat everybody by 20. But I think we realized, and Coach did a great job of stressing to us that that's not going to happen every night.
Chantel Jennings, ESPN.com. Obviously, the season's not over for you guys, but looking back at every game you've played this year, for both of you, what do you think is your best win so far this season?
Start with Mello again.
Our best win, I'll say against Ohio State at home. We really dominated that game. We haven't beat Ohio State. Well, yeah, since I've been in Maryland, we haven't beaten Ohio State, and just to go into that game and really dominate that whole game throughout both halves, we really played really good. So that was the game I say that was our best.
I would say UConn this year was probably our best game. I think that game was our most complete game all around, defensively and offensively.
Okay, next question. Do we have one back here? No. Okay, Chantel.
Then to follow up on that, what do you think has been the struggle in sort of playing up to that level, the UConn or the Ohio State level, since then?
Again, Mello, go ahead.
I guess us getting caught up in ourselves and not being humble. I guess, after those two games, we kind of just lived in the hype and, letting everyone else tell us they were really good instead of just focusing on what we have to get better on, especially our defense. And those two games, we really played really good defense. And like I said, everyone was saying how good we were. Then, once we lost, people were just down on us. And then we was kind of in between. So just looking back on that, we just know what we have to do and just stay focused and not let people on the outside try to tell us who we are.
Kind of like Mello said, I think defense is what's going to win us games. And I think in the games that we have lost, our defense hasn't been very good. And also rebounding is a big focus for us.
Next question. Why don't you guys start with Mello? Why don't you make a couple comments about the matchup with Hawaii?
We watched Hawaii before we played yesterday. We saw how active on defense they were. They just played like they wanted to win. They wanted it more yesterday. More than they Cal wanted. You could tell how hard they was playing on defense and on offense, how they was executing their plays, and they just like it. They was having fun out there, and every team that has fun, they play really well.
Jake, any comments?
Yeah, I think Hawaii yesterday was playing with nothing to lose. So they played harder, played with more intensity. I think tomorrow we can't let them play harder than us. We need to play our style of game and play at our tempo.
Okay, any more questions for Mello or Jake? Okay, we'll excuse them, and the next, we'll have Mark Turgeon here at 2:40. Okay, we'll get started with Coach Mark Turgeon from University of Maryland. We'll just open it up for questions right away. So just raise your hand, and we'll get a microphone over to you. Please give us your name and affiliation. First question. Nick?
Hi, Coach. I'm Nick Gerenius with AP. Can you talk a little bit about how you see the matchups with Hawaii shaping up for your team, where your strengths are especially?
Well, to me, this is the kind of team that, especially early in the year, gave us fits. It's a tough matchup for us because their guard play and they're able to stretch the floor with their big guys. As the year's gone on, we've gotten better at guarding these teams, but with great guard play and able to stretch the ball the way Hawaii does, it's going to be a tough challenge for us defensively. I think obvious strengths for us are our inside presence, offensively and defensively. Hopefully we can protect the rim and hopefully we can score around the basket. And then I have good guards too. So we have a lot of strengths. We're playing better. We're playing with more confidence. So it should be a great game.
Chantel Jennings, ESPN.com. Coach, I asked Mello and Jake the same question, but I was just curious your perspective. What do you think was your team's best win this year?
South Dakota State, without question, because of the magnitude of it. Advanced in the NCAA tournament. Beat a good team.
Mark, Steve Mims from the Register Guard newspaper in Eugene. I'm going to take you back a little bit and see if you can tell me some of your memories. Your second coaching job, obviously, at Oregon, a few years there with Jerry and a staff of a lot of guys who've gone on to coach. What's some of your memories from that time with the Ducks and that group that you had?
Well, it was a great experience for me because I left the University of Kansas where we were winning all the time and took over a program that was a little bit down and had to really grind it. And really proud of what we did there. Coach Green and our staff, Coach Braswell, Coach Boyle. We did some nice things and we made it to the NCAA tournament and made basketball relevant, I thought. And what I do remember is we had great kids. Kenyon Wilkins is one of my all-time favorite players to coach. But the league was really, really good back then. The point guards in that league with Jason Kidd and Brevin Knight and Damon Stoudemire. I mean, we won the national championship with UCLA. Tyus Edney, another great point guard. It was just loaded up. We had 4 teams in the Sweet 16 that year, one of those years. So I think we had 2 national champions in the 5 years that I was in the Pac-10, or was it 10 or 12 then? It's 10, I think. And we just loved living out there. My wife and I loved it. We had some great friends, still have some great friends. So it was a big part of our life and helped me become a much better coach being at the University of Oregon. I had to grind it. Now it made me realize how the real world worked and the things you had to do and made some great recruiting contacts and made a lot of great friends and just learned a lot about the profession at a young age. I was pretty young when I was out there, so it was a tremendous experience. Really happy for their success, too. I'm a big fan of Dana. Big fan.
Okay. Yeah, just make sure you use the mic.
Just to follow up on that, you then were one of the finalists for the job. Have you ever thought about kind of your career, how maybe that goes a different way if you get that Oregon job?
Yeah, it was probably a blessing. I think I was 31. Might have been 32. And I probably looked like I was 18 because didn't have the stress of a head coach, so I didn't have the grays and the lines and all that stuff. But I think Bill probably made a good decision with Ernie. Ernie did a great job, allowed me to blaze a different path, and I think I wouldn't trade my path for anything. Starting at Jacksonville State and working my way up, it's been a great adventure.
Okay. Any more?
Ryan Blajon with the Diamondback. Coach, Diamond battled foul trouble. Probably didn't really have the kind of NCAA tournament debut he was looking for. Did you say anything to him after the game? And do you think he's kind of more prepared for Hawaii?
I thought Diamond was terrific yesterday. I thought his defense was outstanding. That kid was a heck of a player, and I thought Diamond competed, and they were doubling and digging down. He wasn't going to do it, but he had a couple big buckets in the second half, and I was really proud of him. I mean, he wouldn't have been able to give us that, 2 months ago, and what he gave us defensively, his presence, and he posted up hard, and he wore him down. So I thought he was terrific. I just bragged about how good his defense was, and I think he feels pretty good about himself heading into tomorrow.
More questions?
When you then got to Maryland, Mark, and followed Gary, who obviously been there for a long time, you'd been at a couple places and moved along. What was kind of the pressure on you going to there, and how did kind of that program take you in after having had a coach there for such a long time with such success?
Well, obviously it takes some guts to follow a legend like Gary, and I've been lucky the people I've been around, and I wanted to be at a program where you have a chance to be great every year. It's been a battle to get where we are, but our last 2 years we've won a lot of games, and we're starting to recruit at a high level. But whenever you take over a program that they really care, they accept you right away, and Maryland did that. And Gary had a lot to do with it. Gary talked very positive about me. And then the former players, where there's a lot of pride, really reached out. We've done a nice job of forming relationships with our former players, and really that's what it's about. So I just wanted to have a great job, and that's what was important to me, and I have one, and hopefully we're going to do great things with it.
Next question?
Should be it.
Any more questions for Coach Turgeon? Okay, thanks, Coach. Appreciate it. Next press conference will be University of Oregon at 3:10. Reminder to turn off your cell phones if they're on at this time. And also, we have microphone holders, so be sure to summon one of those so that we can ask the questions, and give us your name and affiliation when you ask questions of the student athletes. Thanks. Okay, and now we'll open it up for questions for the University of Oregon student athletes. We have Dwayne Benjamin and Elgin Cook. So first question. Thomas.
Somebody's got to start. Tom Klaus, Spokesman Review. After the win the other night, what have you seen from St. Joe's? Obviously, they've got a little lineup that's matches yours a little bit better than Holy Cross. But so far, what for both you guys, what have you seen on film that either concerns you or feels like you can have an advantage?
Start with Dwayne.
We know they're a very versatile team. They got a lot of guys who can do a lot of different things, and like you said, it's kind of like us. But I mean, they're a good three-point shooting team, and it's something that we have to worry about, and just worry about the versatility with those guys.
Elgin.
To take off what Dwayne said, they're a very versatile team, and they play really hard and they execute their plays and they can shoot the three well. So we need to do a better job of closing down on the shooters, just running them off the line.
Tim Booth from the AP. Elgin, what did you guys learn from being in this spot last year and being in the second round against Wisconsin? And what stands out about that game to you?
I think at the end of the day, we got to come out and execute and just play our basketball game and know who we are as a team. Don't try to get outside ourselves and do things that we aren't accustomed to doing, and just play Oregon basketball.
Matt Calkin, Seattle Times. This is for both you guys. Coach Altman is heralded in coaching circles everywhere. He's kind of universally considered a great coach. What was it about him that made you guys say, all right, I want to play at Oregon. I want to play for this guy?
Dwayne?
He's a teacher. I mean, he just explains everything. He's great at what he does. I mean, he's consistent in everything he does. Every day is the same, you know. He's a great person and a great coach, and that's the reasons why, you know. He just always lets you know what he expects of you, and he does a good job of explaining exactly that.
I would have to say the same. He pushes me hard on and off the court, and he's not a big yeller. He'll tell you something once or twice, and by the second time, if you don't get it right, he gets on you. But he's a great teacher.
Question for both of you guys. What's sort of the vibe of the team right now? I know Coach Altman said that you guys were a little tight going into the game against Holy Cross, and Dylan yesterday said that he was even scared, didn't want to be the first 1 seed to lose to a 16 seed. So are you a little more comfortable now that you got a win under your belt, or are you still guys kind of a little tight going into tomorrow's game against St. Joe's?
Dwayne?
Never comfortable. We're not comfortable at all, but, you know, we just got a better feel, you know, for the court. That's maybe one of the reasons why, you know, better feel for the court, a different atmosphere, you know, more people. Every game means more, but I wouldn't say that we're comfortable, but a little more confident just going in, you know, playing well yesterday. But I say just a little more confident with the way we played yesterday.
Elgin?
I would have to say we're not satisfied, and it feels good to string some wins together, and that was a big win for us yesterday. But at the same time, we got a game plan, and we got to execute, and we just got to get comfortable with the arena, and it's a different crowd for us too as well.
Chris Clayton, KWVA, Eugene. St. Joe's, it's once again for both of you. St. Joe's does a good job of not turning the ball over very often. How do you try and make them uncomfortable and force some turnovers?
Play the way we play. Speed the game up, run our zone and put pressure on them the same way. I don't think we'll switch up the way we play. We'll just try to be real active with our hands and just be in all the right spots and try to make a couple plays, and hopefully that leads to some turnovers.
Yeah, I think if we bring the energy on the defensive end and just be intense and set our zone up and be active in it, get our hands on some balls, I think we'll be fine.
Okay, next question.
Again, for both you guys, Oregon isn't typically associated with being a #1 seed, not like the way like an Arizona is, or these teams that are used to doing it year in and year out. Can you feel the target on your back in any way? Is there any more responsibility or pressure knowing that everyone's looking at you as a #1?
Start with Dwayne again.
I mean, the vibe I get from everybody, we're pretty much over that. I mean, we don't look at ourselves as a #1 seed. We just look at who we got to play, and that's St. Joseph's. And we know they're a good team. We think we're a pretty good team, and we're just focusing on that game. We're not focusing on any number next to our name or anything like that. We're just trying to play basketball for as long as we can.
The same. I think we don't pay attention as much to the seeding, period. No matter whether we was going to be a 1 or 10, where we playing at, we just want to continue to play.
St. Joe's might not have a 6'10" guy like Chris who can go out and shoot threes, but in what ways do you see similarities in between you guys and St. Joe's?
Both. Dwayne again.
I would say maybe the biggest thing is they got a couple guys like me and Elgin, a couple guys who can do a lot of things. A couple guys, yeah, like I say, can do a lot of things. You can pass the ball very well, can shoot it, can defend a lot of positions. Just that versatility of the wings and, the wings and the foremen can do a lot of things just like us. But besides the fact maybe not a Chris or maybe not a Jordan, but they got a lot of guys who can do a lot of things.
Yeah, I think they can mix it up pretty well. They got a lot of versatile guys, and they play extremely hard.
Okay, any more questions? Okay, we'll excuse the student athletes, and we'll have Coach Altman up at 3:30. Reminder to silence your cell phones and please ask for a microphone when you guys come over or when you need to ask a question. Thanks. Okay, we'll start with Coach Altman, University of Oregon, and we'll ask for the first question. Yeah, he's got red hands.
Hey, Dana, when you look at this team, do you kind of see almost a similar version of you guys? There's a lot of 6'6", 6'7" guys that seem like they can play around different positions and such.
It's going to be a tough matchup for us. I agree with you. I think that they're athletic. They play really hard. You know, they won their conference tournament here and playing very well. So I think we are similar basketball teams, and you know, Phil does a good job. I mean, he gets them to play, and they're playing with tremendous confidence. And you know, watching them play yesterday, they were loose and confident and aggressive. So we're going to have to play awfully well.
Next question. Also, please give your name and affiliation as well. Thanks.
Kristen Rogers, KAZI. Loose and confident are also two words that your players have used to describe themselves and how they're feeling, especially after getting that first round win out of the way. How have you seen them kind of respond any differently than a regular season game?
Well, we're trying to get them to play that way. I thought we did a great job in the conference tournament of being aggressive, which helps you be confident. You know, so we've got to continue that. You know, we're not going to play any bad teams, so we've got to be the aggressor. You know, we want our guys to be confident and relaxed and play as hard as they can. So it's something that we've stressed. I thought we did a good job in the conference tournament, and now we just gotta try to continue that.
Okay. A couple down here.
Lindsay Schnell, Sports Illustrated. Dana, I'm curious about Phil Richmond. You know, he goes from being a manager to a walk-on your team. When he approached you and said he wanted to play, why did you say yes? And obviously you know his family really well.
Well, yeah, his dad and I go back, you know, to 1984. So, you know, I've known his father for a long time, but, you know, Phil came to Oregon a year ago and was our manager, and you know, came to me this summer and said he wanted to try to walk on and help the team, and so he just changed his role a little bit and has helped us out in practice, and you know, he's done a great job. He's all about the team, very unselfish young man, and has done a great job for us.
Do you wonder if now the rest of your managers are going to walk on? Have any of them approached you?
Well, the door's always open. You know, we're going to keep a few managers to work out in practice, but no, I think the rest of them probably feel pretty comfortable in their role. But Phil has done a good job, and I'm glad that he's helped the team in this regard. I mean, our managers are so important. They do a great job. It's just a little different role for him.
Okay, we'll come down here first. And then
What have you seen, Dana, in Roman this year? Just you see more of him obviously in practice. Where's he gained through the year? And you mentioned him getting an off season of lifting. Has he seemed bigger, stronger, or more confident?
You know, he really has. You know, it's been a matter of, I just got comfortable with a 7-man rotation, and it's hard to explain that to Kendall and Roman at times, you know, because they have done enough in practice to get some time. But you know, we've kind of stuck with that 7-man rotation, but when we have needed them, they have stepped in and done a great job. You know, Roman at Utah, at Arizona, gave us big lifts in both those games, and Kendall has stepped in a number of ball games and helped us out. So it's a tough role to be in. You're a competitor. You want to play more, but I have to admire the way both those guys have handled it. And put the team in front of themselves. They've been very mature about it, very professional, and that's unusual. You know, I mean, it's hard, and I think they've done a great job of that.
What's the difference with Roman this year?
Well, he's much more physical. Offensively, he's improved his skills. He loves working. You know, he's in the gym shooting the ball all the time. And if he'll find somebody to rebound, he'll be in there shooting it. So he's improved his skill level. He has gotten stronger. Needs to continue to work on his defense. He's not confident in a lot of his defensive things that he needs to continue to work on. But other than that, he's done a great job making progress in almost every area.
Okay.
Coach Tom Klaus, Books and Review. In your last 8 games, of course, in the Pac-12, you had that two road games that you lost. What was the difference in those 2 losses? And then how obviously you said your team's playing well. Obviously they won the big Pac-12 tournament. What was the difference between those 2 losses on the road and how you finished?
Well, we've played well the last 9 games, but before that, and we did have the Bay Area trip that we were not very good. We didn't play well at all. California jumped on us and popped us pretty good, and then we lost to Stanford 2 days later. And then I'm not sure what the problem was, you know, but we didn't have much energy. Our ball movement was bad. We just were not very good. And fortunately, you know, our seniors and Elgin Cook, you know, really had a sense of urgency after that road trip, and we won the last 5 regular season games, and were able to win the conference, and then played well in the conference tournament and yesterday. So the one thing in all 9 games, except with the exception of the Arizona game, 8 of the 9 games, is we rebounded the ball much better. You know, and in my eyes, that's a sign of playing hard and being aggressive, and we want to try to continue to do that.
Okay, remember name and affiliation, and use the microphone for follow-up questions too, if you can.
Coach, Dave Trimmer, CSN Philadelphia. Last night in the broadcast, they said that DeAndre Bembry was the best player that nobody knows in the tournament, and afterwards, Coach made a joke about Mark Few not knowing his name. Can you talk about him a little bit, what kind of player you think he is and how you're going to try to slow him down?
Well, he's talented and he's versatile. You know, he scores in a lot of different ways. I'm not sure exactly what his numbers are, but I think he's got about 150 assists, you know, which is phenomenal for anybody. And he's a very good passer, makes plays, averages 17 points a game. You know, we don't get a lot of 8-10 games, you know, but the games I was able to watch during the season, really impressed with the way he handled the ball and the way he made plays for his teammates. So he can not only score himself and get 17 a game, but he does a great job of making plays.
Matt Calkin, Seattle Times. Apologies if this is a bit of a broad question. Dana, when you first arrived at Oregon, what did you think of that initial hand that you were dealt, and what did you visualize for the future?
Well, you know, anytime you go into a job, you know, a number of players were leaving, and you know, so we didn't have a lot to start with. But you know, the guys, and Jovan Catron in particular, really worked hard, and we got better as the season went on, and I thought they did a great job. We really owe a lot to that first group for just putting up with me and trying to get some things going the way we wanted to, and then after that, you know, we've got good players, you know, guys that were easy to work with, and you know, EJ and Garrett were holdovers that did a great job of trying to work with me and trying to get things going the direction that we wanted them to go. And man, we've always had good guys to work with. Been very pleased with that, and the guys that have stayed with us have wanted to be there and wanted to work and get better and compete. And so, you know, I envisioned coming here and working and getting a staff that would, you know, believe in what we were trying to do and stay with it. And we've been fortunate. I've had a great staff that has been with me, and we've got really good players to work with.
There are obviously a lot of elements that go into coaching. The guys up here, when I asked them what made them want to come to Oregon, they said, well, Dana's a teacher. On your list of priorities, how high is teaching versus some of the other stuff that goes into the job?
Well, that's a big part of it because, you want guys 30 years from now to, I should say 20. I'm not sure 30 years, but that's a long time out. But 20 years from now, they feel good about playing for you and hope some of the things that you talked about during that time stay with them. And I know they get tired of hearing the same things over and over again. There's certain things that we think are important, and whether it's basketball or not basketball, that we think are important, and we just keep going over and over again. But I hope guys leave and feel like they had fun. We want them to enjoy it. We know it's a lot of work, but we want them to leave thinking, man, that was a great 2, 3, 4 years, whatever they have an opportunity to spend with us.
Dana, I have another question about Phil. Is it true that Mitch was your first recruit as a coach?
Oh,
Is that accurate?
no. I was a junior college coach. I'd coached a year at Southeast Fairbury Junior College in Nebraska, and then I was at Moberly Junior College, and I'd been there a year, and then Mitch came in my second and third year. And, we went 35-5 and 34-4 the 2 years. Mitch won 69 games, and I found a way to lose 9. So we had a pretty good junior college team.
Tim Booth from the AP. Dana, when you have a team that's made up of a lot of quote-unquote wing players, a lot of 6'5", 6'6", 6'7" sort of guys that you have, do you look at whether they can play on the inside, whether offensively or defensively first, or is it kind of the outside game and they learn the inside game as they mature and progress in their career?
All of them come at different levels, of where they feel most comfortable playing, and we just kind of go from there. And we love versatile players. In our recruiting we talk about it. Can they play more than one spot? We don't have a traditional, offense guys inside. We try to get up and down the floor. So, versatility is a big thing that we talk about in recruiting. And, we take players from where they feel most comfortable, and we always talk about playing to their strengths and working on their weaknesses. And fortunately, we've had a group that's really bought into that. And, everybody wants to shoot threes and handle the ball and, bring it up because, that's where all the girls watch them bring it up, So, everybody's got to kind of start at where they feel most comfortable and try to build from there. And, how much time they spend in the gym determines most of that. We try to put them in a good position, but how much time they spend in the gym is really where we can build from that. And, guys like Dylan, Elgin, all of our guys, we've had a pretty good group that have been in the gym quite a bit.
Dana, you mentioned EJ, Garrett, Jovan. I'm curious, since you guys got a 1 seed, have you heard from them?
Oh, yeah. No, Jovan was one of the first texts we got, and Garrett, EJ, all of them have, DeVoe, Joseph, Olu. As I look back, we've heard from, they all feel like they've got a part of this. It doesn't happen overnight. So as I'm thinking back, there's maybe a handful that we haven't heard from, but most of the guys, I've received a text or a phone call because they feel part of it. This has been 6 years trying to build and trying to get better, and each year's different, but I've heard from almost everybody who's been a part of it the previous 5 years.
Any really memorable messages, texts, pep talks that you used?
No, most of them just congratulating us, and I think they know that they're part of it, but I made sure that I mentioned all of them, how much a part of it they are. Johnny Lloyd and all the guys, we don't get to this point without all their contributions over the years. So hopefully we can keep it going, but to get to this point, those guys have been really important to us.
You talked about shooting threes, and Elgin's first year, I don't think you wanted him shooting anywhere outside of the paint. Now it's a threat for him to score from three if teams leave him open. What's the process of stretching that jumper out farther and farther to where he is now, where it's in the scouting report for teams?
A lot of work in the gym. You know, Elgin's put in a lot of time, and you know, you're right. The first year, I don't think he took a shot outside the lane. You know, and last year he built upon that a little bit, and this year he's built it. And it doesn't happen overnight. You know, I mean, shooting takes years, and you know, I'm really kind of impressed with how far he's come in such a short period of time, because usually, you know, it takes a long time. Shooting is one of those skills you know, you got to be in the gym all the time, and usually it takes more than a couple of years. But he has made a lot of progress.
Any more questions?
All righty, thanks.
Okay, thanks, Coach Altman. Next press conference would be 3:55. Would be St. Joseph's student athletes. Student athletes are on their way, so we'll begin in just a couple minutes. We have Aaron Brown, Isaiah Miles, and DeAndre Bembry. So reminder again, silence those cell phones. Okay, we'll begin the St. Joseph's press conference with 3 student athletes, Aaron Brown, Isaiah Miles, and DeAndre Bembry. We'll open it up for the first question.
Lindsay Schnell, Sports Illustrated. DeAndre, you kind of have a rep right now as maybe being the best player in the country that no one knows about. I think most of us have gotten a crash course in your game, but what do people need to know about you and your personality?
Well, I'm a team type of guy. The team's first to me. I guess I'm a secret, or I guess I was a secret. But these guys know that I was always the same player. I was always this confident. And I'm just trying to win games, and it doesn't matter what way it comes. If I have to score the ball or if I have to pass the ball, I'm just trying to figure out ways to win the games, and that's what I've been doing most of my career here.
Isaiah and Aaron, what do people need to know about him, you think?
I think last night people got a glimpse of it, but his fire and his mentality, you know, he's a competitor and he wants to win. And I think, yeah, a lot of people definitely got a glimpse of it, and just how, you know, how his demeanor on the court, you know, he's a competitor. He wants to win. He wants to win every game. And I think me and Aaron, we feed off of that, and that definitely, you know, boosts. And so is the team. You know, we try to match his energy and match his fire.
Yeah, man, he's one thing I can say, one word I would use to, you know, describe him as a player is selfless. You know, because he shares the ball. You know, you'll see a superstar, and it's like, okay, they're going out to get theirs. It's like he really goes out his way to get us going before he gets himself going sometimes. And it's just like, you know, them kind of players are special, and we really appreciate that.
DeAndre, I want to go back to the.
Go ahead and identify yourself as well.
Oh, Sean Kramer, cityofbasketballlove.com. I want to go back to that game-winning assist you had last night. One of the options on the play would have been you driving to the basket, but it just seemed like really quick into the shot clock. You wanted Isaiah to be able to hit that game-winning three. What was going through your mind there?
It was either a pick and pop or, like you said, on me driving to the rim. The defense came they both jumped on at me, and I just made it a simple pass to Isaiah Miles. That's one of his best shots in his career. But that's pretty. He had so many jump shots like that throughout his career, just wide open jump shots, and I think it was just a bigger moment for him, and he knocked it down for us. I'm happy that he did.
What was your reaction like after that shot, after his first game-winning shot?
The reaction was get back on defense. It was about 6 seconds left, 7 seconds left. It's plenty of games where you lost in a matter of point seconds, 5 seconds. So definitely get back on defense, try to get a stop, and that's what we try to do.
Okay, go Tom.
Tom Klaus, Spokesman Review. Obviously, that last second shot by Cincinnati was called off. Kind of a two-part question for all three of you. After winning an emotional game like that, and then seeing how Oregon handled Holy Cross, would you rather be in the position that you are, where you had that last second win, or would you have rather dominated your opponent going into the second game?
Aaron, you want to start?
I think the controversy is good because it helped us grow some. We grew some last night because earlier in the year we would lose games like that. You know what I mean? And it's just I thought it was good for us as, you know, growing and learning. You know, we learned a lot from last night, and if we can transform, put that into, you know, this Oregon game, we'll be a lot better off.
Isaiah?
Yeah, like Aaron said, you know, we grew last night from that, but I think it also shows that we have a lot more in the tank and a lot more to show for tomorrow. You know, last night probably wasn't our best defensive game, and I think we can play a lot better defense, and, you know, luckily we get that chance tomorrow to show, you know, step up on that side of the court.
DeAndre, last second win or dominate?
I would say it doesn't really matter. We won. We'll take a win, however, especially when it's a win or go home. You'll take any type of win. It would have been fun to go in overtime again. I mean, Cincinnati has been in so many crazy games like that throughout this year, but I'm happy it didn't count. But like I said, a win is a win, and we definitely grow from it.
DeAndre, I was curious, do you have a favorite player that you tried to model your game after?
I try to model my game after so many different people.
Like who?
I mean, you can go from Scottie Pippen to Steve Francis to Tracy McGrady. It's just so many different people. I try to model my game after, try to get bits and pieces from each different type of guys. I mean, you can ask these guys in practice, if I do like a fadeaway or something, I'm like Kobe, or I say T-Mac, or just little things like that. But I try to get bits and pieces from different guys, no matter if it's point guard or center.
Isaiah, a couple questions. One, same question for you. Who do you try to model yourself after?
Definitely one of my favorite players in the hometown kid, Carmelo Anthony. You know, I grew up watching him. Always had a smooth stroke. Always, you know, moved without the ball. He's great without the ball. Same with Reggie Miller, just moving without the ball. Yeah, I definitely grew up watching him, and that's what I try to model my game after the most.
And what kind of outside reaction did you hear from the world, whether it was back home or anywhere else in the world after last night?
Just a bunch of different reactions, you know, just from either calling me the prophet, Isaiah, you know, people calling, texting me saying thank you. Guys mad at me for, you know, messing their bracket up. Guys telling me, you know, they're going to eat a Baconator in honor of me. Yeah, just a bunch of mixed reactions, but, you know, all positive and all, you know, motivational.
Where do you remember where the prophet Isaiah came from? No, I mean, like in the last day, who was calling you that one?
Oh, just a bunch of, like, you know, St. Joseph fans were just, you know, tweeting out to me saying that.
Looking at the lineup for Oregon, they've got a bunch of players sort of like you, and that's what they talked about too, about their versatility, a bunch of wing-type players, 6'5", 6'6", 6'8". How do you guys, for all three, how do you guys feel about the matchup?
Start with Aaron again.
I personally like the matchups because, you know, like you said, you know, across the board, they're similar to us in style and you know, height and weight and stuff. So, you know, I think it's going to be a very, very good game tomorrow.
Yeah, same what Aaron said. You know, we match up to them pretty well. They don't have one guy that's too big. Like, you know, Cincinnati had DeBurry was, you know, he was hard to get off the glass, but they don't have, not that I've seen a guy that can, you know, hard to stop. You know, we just gotta come play our game and just be strong.
Yeah, I just think it's going to be a really good game, very fast and up-tempo type of game because even their centers dribble the ball and shoot threes, so that's very similar to Isaiah when he's the 5, and then we run Aaron at the 4 sometimes, or Papa now when he's in, so it's going to be a lot of shooting, a lot of running, and I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, Lindsay again.
Before yesterday, have you guys watched the Ducks at all? Did you know anything about them coming into this? You don't. I'm guessing you don't get the Pac-12 network.
Aaron?
Not at all. I mean, from what we would see on ESPN, like highlights and stuff, but other than that, I thought they were, you know, a fast team. I really didn't see much. You know, I just would see scores and box scores and like, man, they're kicking butt. So, other than that, no, I haven't seen anything.
No, I haven't watched them until, you know, this morning when we watched Scout and watched their film. I haven't watched. That's probably the first time I ever seen them play.
Yeah, same thing. We was too zoned in on the season we were having, and we weren't really paying them that much attention. But now we are.
Okay, Lindsay again.
Do you guys like playing someone that you don't know anything about? I mean, when the bracket was first released, were you looking at it thinking that would be a really fun matchup for us at some point, or do you care?
I mean, it really, I really don't care personally because, you know, once you get between them lines, it's you and them, and none of that matters anymore, you know. So that's how I look at it. I mean, once we get playing tomorrow, it's us versus them, and we gotta be ready to go.
Yeah, basically saying what you said, you know, to me, I think it's really exciting, you know, playing the new team, you know, getting out of the A-10, we've seen guys multiple times, we played guys multiple times, so, you know, getting out of that and playing a team that you never played before, it kind of shows where we line up at, and it's like a test for us, and I think we're all ready to step up to that test.
Yeah, like Isaiah said, it's definitely another test for us. Win or go home. On film, they look great as a team. They're a good team off of penetration. All the guys can shoot well, so I'm just looking forward to getting it going.
Anybody else? Any more questions? Dave?
Dave Trimmer from CSN Philadelphia. So a light question. Are you worried about their uniforms blinding your eyes?
Aaron?
They do have some funky uniforms. I'll give them that, but I don't think that's going to distract us in any way.
Yeah, no, I was talking to Marie. She said it's going to be crazy out there with our burgundy and their bright yellow. It's going to be a hard game to watch visually, but I just got to play.
Yeah, just gotta be ready. Definitely watch those guys. They always have some crazy jerseys on every year. I will look forward to if we could switch Nike uniforms or get some wild jerseys like that, some bright colors. That'd be fun.
Variations of burgundy. Right? Any other questions? Okay, we'll excuse the student athletes, and we'll have Coach Martelli up at 4:15. Thanks. we get settled in and continue the St. Joseph's press conference with Coach Phil Martelli. Again, if you have a question, please raise your hand and we'll get a microphone over to you. We'll open up. Tom?
Hey, Coach. Tom Klaus, Spokes and Review. Just looking at the lineups, a lot of forwards, a lot of wings with a lot of ability to do a bunch of different things. Like both teams like the up-tempo. What do you see with this matchup, especially with their lineup?
Well, their size is of grave concern. Brooks and Cook really score the ball. Benson's assist to turnover, I think I've raised it the two times I've talked to my team. I think I've taken it from 5-1 to 6-1. I think the last time in the locker room just now, I think I told them it was 8-1. It was the most unusual assist to turnover. But he's perfect. He knows what his role is for their team. I think they're faster than we are. But I do agree with your assessment about the tempo of the game. We would like the game to be at that tempo, maybe not to 80 like they would want to get, but 75 is all right with us. 76 would be all right for us. And I don't think either team is a knock-'em-out three-point shooting team. So this is going to be about straight-line drives, and they have the added advantage or component to their game where the lobs, you can't guard the ball when it's that high in the air. So they're deserving of a #1 seed. I did not know, I will admit, I did not know that they were #5 in the country in the final polls, but they deserve that. And they're a team that you could see in Houston in 2 weeks.
Mike Jensen, Philadelphia Inquirer. Phil, how have you seen Isaiah handle success this year? His personal success, I mean.
That's a really great question, because the flip side is I saw him last year handle disappointment, and he didn't handle it very well. We played Denver last year. We set up a little wrinkle for him. Last second shot, the ball went in and came out, and we lost. And I don't think he made a basket the next 3 games. He was despondent. Now, the other thing that he did last year is he was into all these gyrations, you know, this thing and whatever this thing is, and he did all those things when he made a shot. Well, you're supposed to make a shot. You've practiced the shot. You're supposed to make the shot. And this year he's a happier guy. It's the way I would describe it. It's the success breeds success, but his attention to detail academically has been superb. He'll graduate in May, and he makes eye contact. Just this is just a wonderful story for him and for us, because our younger players can end up emulating what he has done in this year.
Quincy Schnell, Sports Illustrated. Phil, you've said yourself, that DeAndre has kind of been flying under the radar. Yesterday they called him on the broadcast the best player in the country that no one knows about. He's really, really good. I don't understand how he's kind of flown under the radar.
Well, I think you fly under the radar when you win 13 games your sophomore year. But if you go back, think about this. In the Atlantic 10, which is an extraordinary league, extraordinary, with extraordinary players, extraordinary coaches, venues that are second to none, commissioners and administrators. This is serious, serious basketball. He won an Atlantic 10 championship when he was a freshman. He was the co-rookie of the year. He comes back his sophomore year, calling it the way it is. If we were better, he was the player of the year in the Atlantic 10 last year. He's the player of the year preseason. He finishes that goal. He makes the all-defensive team, although I've made him give that trophy back, because in the last week he gave up 47 to one guy and 28 to another guy. So he's not accepting that award. We're going to save the league money by telling them you could keep that trophy. He's not flown under the radar in the basketball world. All 30 teams came through. Multiple times they've come through. He's going to have a chance, as long as he decides, he's going to have a chance to go to the combine and be measured. And maybe one more win, and people will realize when you wrote out your All-American teams, he should have been on one of the 3 All-American teams.
What's your favorite thing about him?
Well, obviously, we share the same hair products, he and I. So that's my favorite thing about him. My favorite thing about him is he talks to me. He doesn't talk at me, and I don't talk at him. We talk with each other. And in a lot of these situations today, young guys don't like to talk. They don't like to kind of open themselves up to kind of, not touchy-feely, but they don't want to open themselves up that you might sense some vulnerability. That's not the way it is with him. He talks to me, and I will be eternally grateful for that.
Sean Kramer, cityofbasketballlove.com. I know yesterday
Good job, by the way.
Thank you. I
Keep
made
the
sure.
feet on the ground,
Yes.
you know what I mean? You don't have to put them over the chair.
Hands in my lap too.
You're
Is
my
that
man.
good?
You're my man now.
You're my man. All right. I know last night you were kind of hearing about all the buzz and how people were celebrating in Philadelphia. Were you able to maybe experience that last night?
No, I didn't get much of what went on in Philadelphia. I got about a 10-second clip from a building on our campus that they call the Perch, where the kids watched the game. I got all kinds of reports that they shut down City Line Avenue, which is the main street between our campus and the Lower Merion side of campus. I don't know if that's true. But today it's been the text and the emails from people saying, I was at such and such a place. I was at a school social, and the place erupted. I got a text from the Bayheims, who are friends of ours, saying they were in St. Louis and it was crazy. And I'll just give you this, and this is not like me, because I don't really think of myself this way. But this morning at 5 o'clock in the morning, I got a text from Calipari, and at 5:05 I got one from Gino Auriemma. And they were both looking for suggestions for their games today, to see if I could give them some ideas on a last-second play. Gino needed it because he was up 50 at half. He needed a last-second play. But Calipari told me that he thought it was a big deal that the Catholics could advance. So that win touched a lot of people, none more than the Philadelphia story. When you have Villanova in the afternoon, you have Temple with that crushing loss, and then with St. Joseph's. Philadelphia loves college basketball, and they love winning.
I know you said yesterday your son was let go from Delaware. Were you able to talk to him after the win, and what was he telling you and feeling?
He told me that on a bad day, we helped him. So thank you for asking.
More questions? Go ahead, start. Lindsay, go ahead.
Phil, I think a lot of people who watch this tournament and love this tournament don't fully understand how stressful it is for coaches. Tony Bennett collapsed. Sean Miller's like sweating through his shirt the other day. Can you have fun during this, or is it like the most stressful time of the year for you?
You can have a lot of fun, but you have to look at the faces of the people that are around you. I think that if you let on that it's stressful for you, it brings stress to everybody around you. And at the end of the day, we're playing a game, and the coaches calling it the way it is. We get paid a lot of money for this game. But if you can see the faces of people and the joy that's coming from their eyes, that makes it all worthwhile. Stressful is a good word. I haven't been to sleep yet. I was up. I stay up all night after every game, win or lose. So this has been no different. And yeah, that puts a lot of stress. You need the people around you, your family, who, if they're with you, or your support staff with you, to get it that you have these idiosyncrasies, and that it has to be treated normally. That you know, like for us to watch more than half an hour of tape on Oregon would be letting our players know that this is bigger than just a game tomorrow. So I have a lot of empathy for coaches, but I do think that if you can take in the faces of the people around you, then you can relieve some of the stress. And you have to have something. You have to have something, whether it's read the newspaper, whether it's to walk around, whatever it is. I'll never, ever forget this. I'll never, ever forget this scene. In Indianapolis, I was in a workout room looking out on the street in Indianapolis, and I saw this guy walking up the street in a gray T-shirt and gym shorts, and it was Brad Stevens. He was about 19 years old. He was going to coach in the Final Four in his hometown, and he's walking down the street. And Seth Greenberg was next to me, and I turned to Seth Greenberg. I said, what are you doing on a day of a game? He said, I'm on my 9th cup of coffee. He said, what are you doing? I said, I'm in my room. I'm praying to saints that the Catholic Church doesn't even recognize, because I think they might have an influence on the game. And here this kid is walking down the street. So, you know, to each his own, but it's a tremendous way to make a living.
Phil, Austin Meek with the Register Guard in Eugene. How much do you think people on the East Coast know about this Oregon basketball team? The guys earlier were saying, you know, they don't see a lot of the games. They're on late at night. It's hard to get the Pac-12 network. Do you think people in your part of the country know a lot about Oregon?
No idea. This is my livelihood, and I'm saying to you, until I heard on the broadcast that they had finished the season number 5, I had no idea. I knew this. Dana Altman, when he was at Creighton, we played them one time in the Palestra. We still haven't guarded them. They scored as many points as they wanted to, and I knew what a fabulous, fabulous coach he was. But if you said to our players, did Oregon win the Pac-12 or did Arizona? They would lean to Arizona, as would basketball people in Philadelphia. It's not disrespectful. It's just, at a certain point in time, all of you are fans. At a certain point in time, you have to be honest. You turn the TV off. You can't watch any more games. So Big Monday at midnight is no longer Big Monday. It's Tuesday morning. So they're fabulous. They're as good. You know, up close and personal, I know what Villanova looks like, and I know Villanova could end up in Houston, and I know Oregon could end up in Houston. So to the fan in Philadelphia or the East Coast, they have no idea.
Any more questions? Okay, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Good luck.